and can report the truth. New York Parrot, a New York-based national and global news outlet, is changing the narratives of media operations. We focus on the news that matters, like self-empowerment, entrepreneurship.
Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Good morning, this cold, very cold Friday morning. Winter has finally arrived. We had snow in the past couple of days, but no accumulations. Now the cold weather is here. Tomorrow is going to be even colder. And then we're going to go back into the 40s at the beginning of the week. My name is Robert Press, an official New York City political reporter. Yes, I get to beat up on the mayors. I've gotten questions into Bill de Blasio about NYCHA, where he said that $18 billion would be needed to fix NYCHA, and that number is now up to $60 billion. But on my show, in the past 2 weeks, I've had Republican candidates for the 13th city council race. Today, I was supposed to have Samantha Zerka, one of the 5 candidates for the city council race. But in sending my text back and forth to Ms. Zerka, she sent it to her campaign manager, who I won't name. Well, I'll give you his name, Phil, because I looked up on the U.S. Attorney's record, and he was arrested for the insurrection on January 6th, 2021. He's probably awaiting trial because there's no final situation, but almost all of the people who were in that have gone to jail. So the reason I'm saying this is I wound up talking to him on text, and he said, well, you're giving me 7 days notice. That's not enough notice. I need 8 days. Well, that's being petty. And then he made a derogatory remark about the Democrat, me being a Democratic. Well, I'm not going to say what he said. So, Samantha, that's it. You're not coming on the show. My guest today is 17th City Council Democratic candidate Gonzalez Duran, who will be on after the commercial in the second half. And we'll talk to Mr. Gonzalez Duran. And thank you, Phil, for the extra comment, because I've given my next week's candidate, Ms. Phyllis Tiz Nastasio, more than 7 days notice. So she has agreed to come on. And then the last candidate in the following week will be Christy Marimano, who is the 5th candidate running on the Republican line for the 13th Council District. Then I will get into the Democratic side, because there is now problems with new Community Board 11 Chair Bernadette Ferrara. She is now the chair of Community Board 11, had announced that she was going to run for city council, and now there seems to be a coup on Community Board 11, whereas a second member has left, Mr. John Johnson, so there are 2 vacancies now. Plus, there are 10 open seats on Community Board 11, and here is my letter of, dear Mr. Press, thank you for your interest in serving as a member of your local community board. Unfortunately, I was unable to appoint you to the board at this time. Your application will be kept on file and will be considered for future vacancies. Well, Borough President Vanessa Gibson, you have 12 vacancies on Community Board 11. When am I going to get on Community Board 11? Or is it that I know too much from my experience on Community Board 8? All right, we're going to go into the matter of Community Board 11 in the future. All right, but the borough president approved the 2560 Boston Roads rezoning, which will put in a 10-story building, which I had no problem. And we finally found out that there will be various apartments in there. We have, if I can find my notes, 84 studios, which will be 350 to 400 square feet, 149 one-bedrooms, which will be 500 to 550 square feet, 22 bedrooms at 650 to 725 square feet, and 53 bedrooms at 850 to 900 square feet. Now, 500 square feet is 25 by 20. It's about the size of a 2-car garage. All right. Now, I don't know if people want to live in the 2-car garage, but these are not family apartments. These are apartments for single people or 1 or 2 people with no plans of having any children. So probably that's why there was no mention of any schools coming. And I am worried that this might even turn into a homeless shelter, like certain other buildings that were market rate or whatever this is with the affordable housing. They were turned into homeless shelters in Community Board 7, in Community Board 8, and in Community Board 12. So now we have Community Board 11 with a developer that has a history of building homeless shelters. So I'm worried that this will become a homeless shelter in the future. But let's get on to the politics of the day. We have Congressman George Santos is still in Congress. He was assigned 2 committees. He gave them up, but he's still there. And there is talk of having 100,000 signatures delivered to Congress to have him ousted. What more can be said? More classified documents are coming out. They are no longer being found on President Trump's estate, nor on President Biden's estate. The latest issue of more classified documents have been found on former Vice President Pence's estate there in his state. And it just continues. Who knows how much of these classified documents will be found. Whoops, wait a minute. Is this one? Oh, no, I thought I had a classified document here. Next is the Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, has begun prosecuting or presenting evidence this week to a grand jury about Donald Trump's role in paying hush money to a porn star during his 2016 presidential campaign. The DA is trying to lay ground for a potential criminal charges against the former president in the coming weeks. Now, let's see. If it was 2016, we're in 2023. That's 7 years. The statute of limitations will be up soon, DA Bragg. What took you so long? Okay, moving on to something else that really is important to us. Governor Hochul presented her its fiscal year 2024 budget. Now, the city and state run their fiscal years starting July 1st, running to June 30th of the following year. So the fiscal year 2023 ends on June 30th of this year, and fiscal year 2024 begins on July 1st. Yeah, it's a little strange, but that's the way they work. So she has a $227 billion budget, and let me get the highlights of the budget. There is a 2% increase over last year's budget, which was the largest state budget. The FY 2024 budget, which begins, like I said, on July 1st, 2023, has $19.5 billion in reserve because of possible economic downturn. There is $1 billion promised to New York City for the flow of immigrants, the crisis that the city is having. $22 billion, though, is the projected budget gap over the next 3 years. 5.7 million in fiscal year 2025, 9 billion in fiscal year 2026, and 7.5 billion in fiscal year 2027. She also proposes 85 new charter schools in New York City, increasing school aid by more than $13 billion over the next 10 years, $125 million to expand pre-K for 17,000 more children. She wants 2,150 new residential beds for people with mental illness who need support, which is a priority in her budget speech. Now we have to see what the state legislature is going to do to this budget, because what it is I know, and everybody should know, that the Democrats in Albany, which are in control in the Assembly and State Senate, are against charter schools. Why are they against charter schools? Because the United Federation of Teachers own the New York State Assembly and the New York State Senate, basically. They give them thousands and thousands of dollars in campaign donations. So why would somebody say, well, I'm getting all of this money from the UFT. Why would I vote against them? Why would I say I want more charter schools? Okay. And basically what happened, I used to be on the Chancellor's Parent Advisory Council, and we had a presentation about SAVE legislation, which was taking students who were causing trouble in the classroom and putting them in a special in-house detention center rather than suspending them from school. And what happened was the deputy chancellor gave the presentation, and he said, well, this is what we're talking about, but you know what? I think maybe I should turn it over to the UFT person here, and he'll explain what it is. And the UFT person said, well, we created this legislation in Albany to take problem children out and put them into a special room where they can be, so they won't disrupt the classroom. What it really did was it created another teaching position in each school. So you had 1,069 schools at that time, and it created 1,069 new teaching positions. So the union could get more money from those new teachers as they paid their dues, which they are no longer obliged to. Let me continue now. As my guest is coming on in a few minutes, we may have city council races in the 11th council district. There is talk that the new Unity Democratic Club will be putting up someone to challenge incumbent Eric Dinowitz. In the 14th council district, there is talk that Rachel Bradshaw will be challenging the incumbent Karina Sanchez. And in the 17th council district, as you will see, my guest is challenging the incumbent and land use chair, Rafael Salamanca. I believe there's also going to be challenges in a few other districts. It might be the 15th, 16th, and 18th council districts that there may be challenges. So right now, I'm going to stop right now and go to a commercial if my producer can pull it up. And when we come back, we'll have my guest, Mr. Gonzalo Duran.
Do you wish your business makes it to the top list of the most searched for business in the US and around the world? Or are you searching for halal compliant services and products online? Then Halal Finder is your online resource directory, pointing you to the right places and products. Let's help you explore halal products and services of your choice as we manage many halal businesses across the world. Promote your business with halalfinder.com, the only plug you need to grow. Our services include business listing, digital marketing, branding strategy, SEO campaigns, crowdfunding, and humanitarian support. On our Compassion Corner, we offer crowdfunding of halal ventures and humanitarian services. In this section, you can make or receive donations, start donation campaign, and check existing donation campaigns. And by paying zakat and sadaqah to our Compassion platform on halalfinder.com, you have supported the poor, widows or widowers, orphans, and the likes around the world. Contact us at info@halalfinder.com or call +1 718 822 5555. Get started today at halalfinder.com.
Okay, let me introduce my guest, Mr. Gonzalo Duran. He is no newcomer to politics. I believe you ran against Richie Torres in the past. So let in Mr. Gonzalo Duran, who is running for the 17th City Council seat against current Councilman Rafael Salamanca, introduce himself and speak as long as you want for a few, about yourself.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Robert. It's good to see you again. I'm honored to be on the Parrot TV show talking politics. The last time when I ran for District 15, I was in a car accident, so it delayed me. But I used the knowledge that I had during that time, during that candidacy, to pave the way for this upcoming one, for District 17 run. So just to give a little background for those who may not know who I am, I'm the executive officer for Devil Dog USA. It's a veteran nonprofit where we try to get veterans to reintegrate back into the community with the community's help. And in that capacity, we've had recreational programs like golf, scuba diving, camping. Then we do events like cigar nights, civic engagement, poker nights, crochet classes, etc. And then we do community engagement where someone like me will go talk to children. We'll do domestic violence events and et cetera, et cetera. me speaking, not only have I been an executive officer for over 10 years, or just about to hit 10 years, but I'm a former United States Marine Sergeant. I'm a NASDAQ opener, Father of the Year recipient from New York City, Veteran of the Year, Humanitarian of the Year, Advocate of the Year, Man of the Year, etc. And it goes on. So that's basically my background. So why am I running? Well, I've always seen that there's been a lot of lacking of individuals in my capacity of work, as my capacity of me personally. There's always this lacking of individuals that say, the elected officials aren't doing enough, and they're not doing the right things, et cetera, et cetera. The District 17, the one before me, before the Salamanca, my opponent, I believe she left, she resigned based off of some illegal activities that she was doing. I don't recall everything, so I might be wrong.
That would be former Councilwoman Maria del Carmen Arroyo, who was accused of having Derek Jeter's signature on her petition, and she probably made a deal and resigned from office.
Yes, she did. And you'll see that across the board with different elected officials. And then something I call political oppression, but I'll talk about that later. So now you have somebody like me, a hardworking, on the grounds person with national attention. So my day-to-day job is helping individuals that are homeless, individuals that are in shelters, individuals that need services, resources, and I get it for them. And I'm talking about books, coats, toys, anything you can imagine. That's me. That's what I do on a daily basis. Now, what I want to do now is, instead of being the guy that does the bottom work and the guy that does the national work, because for me, in my capacity, I've been on Channel 5 News, Fox 5 News, CBS, ABC, 9 and 11. That was my first 2 years as an executive officer. So I used those national platforms to get my name across the country. And when I say I've risen to that level, I'm talking about I have published articles. I had my own talk show.
I hate to interrupt you, Gonzalo, but you're sounding almost like former city councilwoman Annabelle Palmer in the debate that I moderated between supposedly Joe Crowley, where he sent Annabelle Palmer, and candidate Alessandra Ocasio-Cortez, because Annabelle Palmer was talking about what she did in the council when she was there to represent Congressman Crowley. So it's all fine that you've done all this national stuff, but it's the local level that you need to talk about. I know that you don't have to live in the district, and with redistricting, have you been put into the District 17?
So my point of saying all that national stuff is, I've already been doing the work of a councilman for years, and I would even go as far as saying as a senator. But the reason why I haven't broken into the city level is because the political oppression part, which you as a powerhouse in the political realm know what I mean. And for the viewers that were watching, I'm pretty sure they're aware, but they may not know it completely. So do I see the candidate as my opposition or an opponent? Not really. I see him as just somebody in my way.
The question is,
my office has been in the District 17 for 5 years. Devil Dog USA now opened a second office in the 17th district. So every couple of months, every couple of years, we made progression. Now, I'm going to give one example so that the people understand something that you know about. Now, all the programs that I mentioned earlier, all our programs are 99% free to the public, but you will not see my face or a flyer or an event happen at the District 17 level, because the community boards, the senators, the councilmen, the assemblymen, the congressmen will not share my flyers, because now I have national attention and I have the local attention, but I don't have the city attention. I don't have my district. They don't know who I am. So now I've taken a step further in my work capacity. Let's say in the next 2 months, we have maybe 4 or 5 events that are planned within the District 17. Now, once again, I've done this for years, but now I'm making it public. Now I'm saying, you can't hold me, you can't stop me, I'm taking over.
Okay, let me ask you, what are the three major issues that you see in the 17th Council District that you want to work on?
Well, one is the resources. Everything that I mentioned to you regarding my programs, I want to implement them directly into the district. I mean, in their faces. The second thing is the contact. I've invited the city council to all my events that I just mentioned. In 2 months, I've had about over 18 events, ranging from civic engagement to recreational and everything in between. And I haven't gotten one response for him at all, not one. Now, somebody with my capabilities, I should be his best friend so I can help the public directly. And the third part is I would say the community. They're upset. They want somebody better in house. I haven't met one person that has said one good thing. Now, maybe I have been narrowing my view, but once again, not one person has said anything to me about him. So let's say, yes.
I know his former chief of staff, John Sakara Jr., very well. And John basically was very excellent in the position of chief of staff, and he's now an assemblyman in the 80th Assembly District. But I really haven't heard anything whereas what you're saying about Councilman Salamanca. What I've heard is that there are the most homeless shelters in Councilman Salamanca's district, and in order to make better housing for the homeless, he has instituted, and the council has passed it in 2020, that any new developments getting city money or city financing have to have a 15% homeless component in that. Are you in favor of that, or would you be against that, that we should have buildings just for homeless or integrate homeless into these new buildings, wherever they be? What's your opinion on that?
So we don't have enough land or buildings to make what we want, but the city has proposition money and land developers and community-based organizations to have certain amount of things in certain places. Now, in our specific district, we are 100%, 125% of the poverty line. So we are a prime candidate for homeless shelters. They're going to want, because they want the developers to come in, they want the program managers to feed them, give them the resource and everything right there. So do I want it? I can tell you what the people want, because I sit in those community boards, even though I'm not invited, and I listen to what they don't want any more shelters. But with the placements that are already in place, there's going to be at least 2 more that I can think of that are going to be put in within the next 5 years. So
right.
Do I want
because
it?
The Bronx, while only having 18% of the city population, has 37% of the homeless population. And that was a big fight I had with Mayor de Blasio, where he said, well, we won't send any more people to the Bronx unless there's an emergency, which has been happening still. And homeless shelters are still being proposed for areas in the Bronx. There's a big fight in Community Board 11, but that's not your district. And then we had Councilman Felice in the 15th Council District. All right. There was a proposed homeless shelter on White Plains Road in this district, where I was able to speak to Mayor Adams last year, at the beginning of last year, and that got squashed. And, Councilman Felice is taking credit for it when he really did nothing. Now, how would you be working, though, with Borough President Gibson? Because the council members, or even the other council members, Councilman Salamanca is the land use chair. He holds a very important chair position. It's possible that the Bronx could lose all of that influence should you be elected. So how would you make up for the loss of influence?
So I don't think that would be a problem, because I don't work with the city councils. I don't work with the senators at the moment because they don't want me in that position. But the people I do work with are the business owners and the constituents and the people that vote. And when I'm playing this game, I'm not asking for a District 17 level. Once again, I'm working at the national level. So everybody that's going to come along with me are the business owners, the people that represent not only District 17, the Bronx, New York City, and the nation itself. Okay? I'm not playing this just for additional. Gonzalo Duran, CEO, executive officer for Devil Dog USA. I haven't been playing in the district lines. I played national level games. Now, I would assume and hope that the city council, now, if I'm elected to the position, they're going to play ball, because I'm going to have the people's supporting me. period. Now, in retrospective, in the first year is going to be a difficult process. In the second year, I hope to get a lot of the initiatives that I want done. Now, those 6 campaigns that I mentioned earlier, one of them happens to be a homeless program that I've been working on for 10 years. Not only do I have financiers and bankers already looking at it, I've been working it for literally 10 years. That's how I made my bread and butter in my work capacity. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, okay. Next question would be the education performance level in the Bronx in 2019 was at 67%, while the other 4 boroughs were over 80%, with one borough at 84%. How would you fix that student gap in achievement?
So once again, the lack of elected officials in the businesses, the schools, the churches, everything is one of the things that we're lacking. This past week, I've initiated, let's say in 3 weeks, I initiated a program, a work for book program. Then we did a book drive. Normally, you would assume that you would get like 1,000 books would be like a big deal. In less than 3 weeks, I was able to get 4,000 books, and from New Jersey, Queens, all over the Bronx. So once again, I'm not playing district lines. The second thing was I was actually speak at one of the local schools, and the reception that I got, not just from the teachers, the principals, the students, was very receptive. So now you take somebody like me, a NASDAQ opener, veteran of the year, Bronx father of the year, etc., all those things, and you put them in a seat and you say, look, we need help. We need help. We need help. I perform. So not only would I help with those schools, the businesses, to bring more facilities, more resources, everything that I just mentioned, the golf programs, the painting programs, those are all things I'm doing without the political people's help. And they are scared of that. They're scared of that. Because imagine if I did sit on the seat, if I had the staff and I had the budget to do everything that I want to do, how powerful and how many people will support me like that.
Well, we're coming on to near the close of the show, but I did want to ask you one question. I know you were producing shows for BronxNet at one time, and BronxNet used to give out equipment. And what happened was that you had some equipment and your car was broken into, you said, and BronxNet no longer gives out equipment to anybody. Can you give us a little, what happened? Did the police ever find the equipment or what?
So nobody's ever asked me that directly, and I'm glad you're the first person because I respect you so much for even bringing it up. I had a program, a Bronx veteran program, where I was giving information and the resources to the people once again. Now, with that being said, I was doing a late night event and the equipment got broken into. It's the Bronx. They broke into my van and they just happened to have the equipment that day. I didn't have it displayed. It wasn't visible. They just broke into my car. They looked for the first thing and they grabbed that. Now, what should have happened was I should have gotten a slap on the wrist and maybe banned for like maybe a year or two. They've banned me indefinitely and it's been going on for 5 years. I have the documents to prove anything. And the reason why I was banned, you can say because of the equipment and everything, but that's the political oppression that I was talking about earlier. If I'm no longer being in the local community, being viewed on a regular basis, then I can't break into that gap that I'm in. So that's the political oppression. That's what happened. Those individuals are part of the Democratic Party in factuality, in the behind the scenes type of stuff. So that's the answer.
Mm-hmm. So, and you're going to be facing the Bronx Democratic Party because they will be endorsing the incumbent. There's basically only one incumbent that the Bronx Democratic Party didn't endorse because they had pre-endorsed the opponent, and then the districts changed during what happened last year with the Senate districts. So how are you going to face, how are you going to beat the Bronx Democratic Party organization?
Well, that's easy. That's the easy part. First, I'm running. That's change. That's a game changer right here. Somebody.
No, Mr. Duran has broken up, unfortunately, and we're at the end of the show. So, Gonzalo, I'm going to thank you for coming on. Thank my viewers for watching, and hopefully I'll have a little more on Community Board 11, the problem with the district manager, and thank you for watching.
Do Do you wish your business makes it to the top list of the most searched for business in the US and around the world? Or are you searching for halal compliant services and products online? Then Halal Finder is your online resource directory, pointing you to the right places and products. Let's help you explore halal products and services of your choice as we manage many halal businesses across the world. Promote your business with halalfinder.com, the only plug you need to grow. Our services include business listing, digital marketing, branding strategy, SEO campaigns, crowdfunding, and humanitarian support. On our Compassion Corner, we offer crowdfunding of halal ventures and humanitarian services. In this section, you can make or receive donations, start donation campaign, and check existing donation campaigns. And by